friends, and welcome to episode 113 of Did You Bring the Hummus podcast. I'm Kimberly, your host, and I'm super excited to be here with you today. Did You Bring the Hummus is a podcast for all things vegan. Episodes post every Monday on your favorite podcast app. Before we get started, I have one very important question for you. Did you bring the hummus? Do you love the podcast? Want to help me keep it going? Visit the Support the Podcast tab on my website to learn more. Join me on alternating Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern for an hour of meditation. Sign-up options include individual sessions, a monthly subscription, or a 10-session package good for 6 months. I have joined forces with Jennifer Shlomovich of The Confident Vegan to bring you the next great thing in morning TV, That Vegan Morning Show, which airs on YouTube every Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern. Join our mailing list and get a free recipe ebook of some of our favorites. Today, I am joined by Naijha Wright-Brown. Naijha is a 2021 Baltimore Business Journal Enterprising Women of Excellence honoree. A native New Yorker raised in the South Bronx, Naijha is a people person and loves to make connections. Naijha was introduced to gardening, farming, environmentalism, sustainability, and the basics of eating healthy while spending summers in Massachusetts as a teenager. She has an MBA in business from the University of Phoenix and is a successful serial entrepreneur. The thought of owning a restaurant never crossed her mind until she relocated to Baltimore in 2005 and met her fellow Verizon Wireless coworker and now her husband, Gregory Brown. Naijha is a partner and the marketing director for the Land of Kush Vegan Soul Bistro and co-creator of Vegan Soul Fest and Maryland Vegan Restaurant Week. She is the executive director of the Black Veg Society, a nonprofit organization whose mission is to educate predominantly Black, Indigenous, and people of color communities on the benefits of holistic living, the plant-based diet, and veganism. Naijha also has a digital talk show, Naijha Speaks, that helps people on a mission to find their vegan soul. Hey, Naijha, welcome. I'm so glad you're here with me.
Thanks for having me, Kimberly.
I am really looking forward to this conversation. So to get started, tell me about your vegan journey.
Oh, man. Before I even knew anything about veganism or vegetarianism, or what have you, I was familiar with eating healthy at a young age when my mother sent me away to camp. So all this tofu stuff I knew as bean curd. But what happened was my journey started in 2005 when I relocated to Maryland from New Jersey by company relocation. I worked for Verizon Wireless for 10 years. And, when you relocate with a job, you have to find a new dentist and a new doctor, all this new stuff. So I thought I was in the most healthiest condition ever because I was working out. I was consuming all my protein because I was eating a lot of eggs and cheese and milk and not a big, heavy meat eater. I was more into fish. So I was eating all of that type of stuff, but I like the shrimp scampi, all that butter.
Yeah.
And I was told, and I was 33 at this time, I was told if I didn't do something about my cholesterol, because it was 249 at that time, that I was going to be placed on meds, or that was going to be the next option. And I live a holistic lifestyle. If I don't have to take over-the-counter drugs, I'm not going to take. I'm going to go the holistic route, homeopathic remedies. Boron is my favorite, and health concerns. I said, this is not going to work. So I had to consult with Dr. Google. So I did some searches on how do you reduce your cholesterol. So of course, what came back is consume skim milk, 2% milk, all the low fat items, but this stuff still had milk and stuff in it. And here, take some garlic pills. So I was taking garlic, all type of stuff. So a year later, I met this gentleman that came into the company that was hired on the same management team as I was at Verizon Wireless. And he's my husband today.
I met my husband at work too.
You did? Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's awesome. Isn't that the best?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be messing around at work anyway. But he had long locks, like past his butt and everything, like real quiet dude in his cubicle, these interesting books, and he would bring his lunch to work. One of these folks that would bring their lunch to work, not me, spending $400 or $500 a month eating out. So he exposed me to the lifestyle. He would have me try these dishes that he would bring to work, all type of different tofus with different sauce, curry, mustard, barbecue, that sort of thing. And that's where the journey began. He started teaching me about the vegan lifestyle, and then I found out that there's no cholesterol when you're eating plants.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was the solution. Plants. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the journey started. So it was health first. And then he shared with me that he was trying to open a vegan restaurant in Baltimore. So him and his family, they are from Baltimore. I'm a native New Yorker. So that it's a different lifestyle up in New York. But I said, well, I used to be a nightclub promoter, a comedy show producer, never worked in food service industry at all, not even in high school. Like, had no idea what the food service industry was like. Neither did he. I said, but if you're passionate enough about something, and at that time I was passionate enough about finding out more about this vegan food and what we were trying to bring to the market, and make sure that it was sellable and feasible. I said, I think we can do this. And 14 years later, today, multi-award winning fast casual vegan soul bistro. So I guess we're not doing too bad, right?
I'd say, yeah. What's the most popular item on your menu?
The barbecue ribs,
Okay.
the collard greens, mac and cheese. We have award-winning crab cakes, voted by PETA.
Okay.
2018. We tested the products out at this popular festival in Baltimore called AFRAM, which is short for African, American Heritage Festival. So it was a 3-day festival, and we was the only vegan vendor there, vegan soul food vendor, because you got to have the food that resonates with the people. You can't have the rabbit food that people think vegan food is. So every day we would sell out.
Nice.
Ribs, mac and cheese, collard greens, yams. Like, that was the standard. Every day, sell out. So at that point, yeah, where are you all located?
Right, yeah.
And then people will reach out to us and want us to vend at other festivals. And then one of the biggest festivals in Baltimore City, Artscape, that was it, like hands down. And then this is when festivals were starting their green spaces. So we couldn't really cook the way we normally cook. We had to change the whole dynamic, and we had to cook green. So it was more charcoal type cooking. So we put the ribs on a skewer with vegetables, with the homemade barbecue sauce, made chicken salad, and people would wait 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
That was a good time.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
That was a really, really good and fun time.
So now you kind of, you're really involved in kind of the whole restaurant scene. Then you had mentioned about the Maryland Restaurant Month, which is in August. So how are you involved in that?
Well, if we go back, let me think, 3 years after Landakush opened, I get really bored quick. So just to,
I get that.
To be transparent and disclose that, I get bored very quickly. I start getting bored as soon as I'm working on a project. I'm like, okay, we got to get this thing over with. Yep. So at 3 years, I was kind of like, okay, Landakush is a popular brand. We got people coming in, Stevie Wonder came in, celebs, all that type of stuff. Like, what's next? We already 3 years in the game, most popular restaurant. I think at that time, we were the only, Black vegan restaurant that a lot of people was coming to from all over. So a young woman came into the store and she wanted to order catering from us for a conference that she was going to do. And it was going to be that year in October. So this was around June, July. And then we just got into this casual conversation about Veg Fest and how our demographic, the Black, Indigenous, and people of color communities aren't really represented at Veg Fest. So we just said, hey, we need something in the city of Baltimore that's, you know, is soulful and it's for the people. And Vegan Soul Fest was birthed in 2014. And the first festival that we had about 1,500 people that came out. We thought this was going to be a little shindig,
right?
25, 30 vendors. Well, it was like 90 vendors that year. And, you know, nobody really knew what was going on. It just became this new thing. The news came out, Baltimore Sun. I remember them coming out, interviewing, and then it was coined the New Food Festival. So, of course, we had to do it again. And we would do it for several years until COVID. In 2017, so 3 years after Vegan Soul Fest launched, I was bored again, you know, so every 3 years I get bored. So I was bored again. I said, well, what's next? What else, you know, because Vegan Soul Fest, we, at that point in 3 years, we had grown to like 10,000 people. So just think, you know, we were 1,500. Like, so it was just growing. We were on a big college campus and you're just having the darndest time. So what else could we do? That business to business connection. So where I come from in New York, you know, I was in corporate, always dealing with businesses. I said, how do we get the restaurants engaged with this? Now we're speaking to the people, but how do you get the restaurants engaged? What really happened was I went to a restaurant that my brother was doing a marketing presentation in, and I asked for like this salad and if they can remove, I think it was feta cheese or some type of cheese that I just wanted off the salad. The waiter made such a big production of it. He literally told me, like, you know, if you want to get the food that you need, you have to go around the corner to that restaurant. And there was a vegan restaurant around the corner.
Wow,
you know, one of the oldest in Baltimore. You know, it was Liquid Herb. It's like, go over there. And I was like so offended that when I left out of there, I said, you know what? We have to solve this problem. This is another problem we have to solve. We need restaurants with vegan options on their menu. So I had went to this restaurant, Golden West Cafe, who I hadn't been to in several years, because I think the last time I went, they just had like this barbecue tofu, but it was under new management. And they were doing a vegan week in their restaurant. Now, this is a veg-friendly restaurant, not even a 100% vegan restaurant, but they were hosting a vegan week in their restaurant, and the menu was amazing. I said, I have to talk to the owner. So once I got with the owner, and the owner explained to me why she was doing it, you know, for to accommodate the market that had dietary restrictions, vegans, you know, all that type of stuff. I said, well, we need to take this concept outside of here. Is that something that you were looking to do? Like, heck yeah. So we started Baltimore Vegan Restaurant Week. So we did that a couple of times. I know it was twice a year, and then it wasn't enough. The week wasn't enough. So we had to extend it 2 weeks. And then that wasn't enough. So I said, how do we get more than Baltimore City engaged in this? Let's start penetrating the surrounding areas. And, you know, fast forward to today, you're talking about 2017 to 2025, you know, Maryland Vegan Restaurant Month. And this year, for the first time, we're launching a festival, Maryland Vegan Eats Summer Fest at Power Plant Live. The Baltimore Inner Harbor. So yeah, that's how it became about. And when we look at the statistics, 64% of the people that participate in this campaign, and it's a month-long campaign, have expressed that they will be willing to become vegan, or, you know, add more vegan options to their diet, which is pretty good.
Yeah, so. I'd say.
like it's working.
Yeah.
It's opening up the dialogue and people are having discussions. They're trying different things. There are folks that are finding out about restaurants that they didn't even know had vegan options on their menu. So it's a win-win on both ends.
Yeah.
For those businesses that want to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're meat heavy and it's not for them, it's for those that are interested in learning more. How do we get more plant-based options on the menu? How do we reach this market? We want to be in on this. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's always a good time.
Yeah, that's amazing. When you think about, starting the Land of Kush, kind of like, will this work? Is it going to take off? Are people really into it to make it like what you want it to be? And then as you start adding these other things, you realize like, oh, people have been looking for this. And now you're providing it to them. And
right.
they want more and they're ready to hear more and learn more. And, the vegans, I'm sure, are like, yes, finally. But
right.
then the non-vegans too, or the pre-vegans, as I like to call them,
okay.
their interest gets piqued and they're like, oh, this food is different. And I love people who see food as an adventure. And even if they think like, oh, I would never eat vegan food or I would never be vegan, but they're willing to try vegan food. Like now we've got that in to like show them how amazing it is. And
right.
then do these fun events to like hang out with people that and meet new people who are into food too and discover all these new flavors. And I'm so jealous that I don't live closer.
Yeah, because I love Land of Kush food, but I also love different cuisines. I like Spanish food. I like Indian food. I like Ethiopian food, Asian food, so you can veganize all this stuff. So I'm always out there looking for different options, what people have on the menus. And again, food is social. Everybody eats. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're going to your home cooker, or you're just going to cook at home and eat, or you're a social person and you want to go out, or you're a foodie and you want to try different things. Food is social. So how do you bring people together? It's through the food, and the food has to taste good. That's it. Because a lot of times I hear, when you're introducing the vegan food, you're bringing food, it may not resonate with the folks that you're bringing it to. So you have to be conscious of that. The food, from the food, desserts, the drinks, everything needs to, taste good. If you want certain people to enjoy it and be curious about it and ask questions about it. So I think we've done a great job here in Baltimore through the Land of Kush and through the nonprofit Black Veg Society of opening those doors and helping people to explore different cuisines and learn more about how what they eat and drink impacts the environment, the animals, and their health.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. So tell me about Black Veg Society. How did it become? What does it do? Yeah.
Well, me and my husband always talked about having a nonprofit, because once we opened up the Land of Kush, you can only imagine, like every week was like, can you donate food here, or can you do this? And people don't really understand the restaurant business isn't a get rich business. It's very low margin. So we can't possibly donate and fund everybody's event for free, but people get the impression that you can do that. So what happened was, in the beginning, we had a loyal customer that would come in. I think his name was Julian. I don't remember. I think I know it started with a J. He would come in and he had this Facebook group called Black Vegetarian Society of Maryland. And he would continue to come in and want us to take this group over. He's like, you guys are doing so well, take it over. But as new restaurateurs, the number one thing you're thinking about in your first year is we got to stay open. And it's the hardest year. So you really can't be focusing on anything else. I mean, we had people that wanted us to buy their businesses it was just insane. You got to focus on your business and growing your business. So by the third year, when we launched Vegan Soul Fest, I made the decision that okay, we can do this. We can take over this Facebook group because, now we have something that, we can really share with the community and get grants to, fund this festival. It doesn't have to be out of our pocket because a lot of times when you're doing events, if you don't have it, it's out of your pocket. So we took over the Facebook group, and we would start the process of the nonprofit. Shout out to A Welfare World, Dawn Moncrief. She's very instrumental in getting us the funding to start the nonprofit. Very helpful in that area. So we would table around the community, get plant-based milks, deli slices, things like that for people to try. So to try and buy things that you can do for Thanksgiving, that's vegan, things that you can do for, different holidays. We used to just table around the community's different health fairs so that people can try the product. And we would do that through the Black Vegetarian Society of Maryland. And then we would continue to have the festival, the Vegan Soul Fest, and just do different things. Now, we all know when COVID hit, outdoor festivals, tabling, dinner, because we even launched like a whole musical meatless Monday type of dinner. We would work with the high schools. We'd have up to 300 people at these dinners. So all of that stopped in 2020. You couldn't do that anymore. So we started doing webinars, and one of the webinars that we had was Food is Medicine webinar. So we had someone on the board that, just ran this webinar. But during that time, I was thinking about rebranding from the long name Black Vegetarian Society of Maryland to Black Veg Society. So it became Black Vegetarian Society of Maryland, doing business as Black Veg Society. So we got a new logo, new branding, and, just in a carrot, like this whole carrot in the logo. It was just totally different. And that's how it started, from a Facebook group. And then the gentleman that gave it to us, he started another Black Vegetarian Society in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So that's how it started. And because of all the events that we were doing, I think in within 2 years, we had over 24 events that we had done. Veg Fund, now defunct. Veg Fund was another big funder of ours. They awarded us in 2019 at the National Animal Rights Conference an award for all the work that we had done in the community through the Black Vegetarian Society.
That's amazing. So what are you doing with Black Veg Society now?
Well, we just launched a new Children's Veg Fest last year. So, So something for the children, because they are our future. And how do you get to the parents? Through the children. So they're thinking of Vegan Soul Fest, which was more catered to the adults, even though we had, some things for the children. Now the focus is, I have a 13-year-old teenager. I want her to get engaged in business and tabling and organizing and planning, and how best to do that then to produce something that's catered to her age bracket and above. So this is, open to 4 to 24-year-olds.
Nice.
That's the Children's Veg Fest. And anybody that is young at heart, because I'm a big kid. I like kid stuff. So last year was successful. We had close to 1,000 people that came out to that. We gave out 250 goodie bags. This year, Dr. Bronner's is sponsoring the Children's Veg Fest, and we've partnered with the Y of Central Maryland. So September 6th is when that will happen. So that's one of the things they're working on. Naijha Speaks is another project of Black Veg Society, where I'm helping people find their vegan soul through food, people, events, and culture. So I love interviewing authors and businesses and having panel discussions and, just sharing information with the viewers about regular, everyday people, because a lot of times we're after celebrities, we want to interview them, but the regular, everyday people have very important stories to share. And I think that resonates more when you can hear that, this person was able to do it, and this was their journey. So Naijha Speaks is also a project of the Black Veg Society.
That's awesome. And I'm with you 100% on the like the purpose and the focus of your podcast. Is mine is very similar to that. And that's why I ask everybody to share their vegan journey. And the mission of Did You Bring the Hummus is to inspire listeners to go vegan through powerful stories and meaningful conversation while lifting voices and sharing what regular vegans are doing.
Right. Exactly. Because you make it too glamorous, people don't think that they can reach that.
Yeah.
Whereas, I wasn't vegan all my life. I started that. It took me 3 years from when I found out about the cholesterol. I didn't go overnight or because I read a book or watched a documentary. I transitioned, through a journey.
Yeah.
Some people did it because they watched a documentary. Some people did it because they tried this meal or read this book. But everybody's journey is different.
Yeah. When we can hear ourselves in someone else, that makes all of the difference, right? Especially if they are already where we're thinking we might want to go, then it really is inspiring. And it's also so cool how many vegans are doing so many different things.
Yes, right? Absolutely. I mean, and there's so much of a range because you also have the fitness aspect of it, which is, totally different because then you're looking at, okay, well, what do I consume or eat to, build muscle? So that's another category. Then you have your raw vegans, and then you have, it's just so many layers.
Yeah.
To it. It's never ending and you're always learning.
Yes.
And that's what I like about it. I'm on a secretary to board of this philanthropic organization called Thrive Philanthropy, who has a Thrive Africa program. So they've reached out to Black Veg Society a number of times to learn what we're doing here in the States. And now they're having African vegan restaurant weeks and African vegan festivals. And prayerfully, I'm looking forward to going there next month to actually meet people in person and really, hear what the people on the continent of Africa have to say about finding solutions to their vegan advocacy. And, so it's exciting. It's just never, and you can't get bored. Like when people ask, well, what do you eat as a vegan? Or, how do you do this? There's just, I don't know what was going on back then when, it wasn't a household name, but now that's a household term and people are familiar with it. You hear it in the movies, you hear it in television, you hear it in radio. This is like the best time to go vegan. From all like you got the business people and we see it from that side, from the business side as well. The different restaurants that are opening and closing, but it just keeps us on our toes. Like we're not the only ones out here anymore.
Yeah. How have you found when you're approaching restaurants for things like, hey, do you want to be part of the restaurant month where you're adding a vegan option or a vegan menu for a week, a month? How are you finding where people, like, what's the pushback if you get some now? Because you did say there's some restaurants that aren't interested in joining. What do they say to you? Like, what's their reasoning? That's
not our thing. It's either that's not our thing or the chef doesn't, want to engage in that. So, or vegans are too complicated. So I always say if you want 100% vegan food and you want to ensure there's no cross-contamination, you got to go to 100% vegan restaurant. Bottom line, if you have veg-friendly restaurants engaging in the vegan, they're doing the best that they can to learn about how to make vegan food, educating the staff. But who's to say if something I don't know what's going on in their kitchen. Sometimes they do say we're vegans are very difficult. So what we say to our folks, like we have these events and it's not just for vegans. And it's not about the vegans. We are opening up to the market to introduce non-vegans to vegan food. Because sometimes it's like we think everything is for us. Yeah, we got to share. We got to learn sharing is caring.
Yep.
And we're bridging the gaps. And I think, we promoted on our website at the MD Vegan Eats. We're bridging the gap in cultures and relationships, even from a race standpoint, multicultural, like we are constantly bridging the gap through Land of Kush, through Black Veg Society, me and my husband as individuals. That is what we do. We are on the Try Love campaign. We do everything out of love and true love and compassion for the community. I don't care if somebody went vegan for the animals, for their health, or the environment. It does not matter to me. I don't even think I ask that question anymore in the interviews because I really don't care. Because I think it opens the door up to a judgment of, oh, well, they went for health. Okay, they're not really down with us. And then it creates more division. We're already in the minority. The small percent that we are, we still have a lot of work to do to get pre-vegans to this lifestyle. We're not going to win if we're constantly judging everybody's move and how they think. So we're more about just educating, getting information that people, want to know. So we're not fighting restaurants that don't want to sign up. You either sign up, you want to get the promotion, or you don't. I'm not going to sit there and talk to a steakhouse about putting vegan options on the menu if that's not what they want to do.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah. And I wouldn't either. I was curious as to what they would say.
Yeah, they like that. We not. That's those are two things. Yeah, we're not interested in that. Or vegans are too difficult. We don't want all of that nitpick. That's their attitude.
Yeah,
and they're not even getting into an environment, how impact. I remember when PETA was they did a campaign in Baltimore City about the crabs because, of course, Maryland is crabland. So they put up the billboard about the crab, and the crab is an individual, and they started this war between them and this other popular restaurant. I'm not going to name the names, but the news came down and talked to us, and my husband just simply said it opens up a dialogue, and then you have people almost protesting our restaurant for that. So it just gets that serious, and I had to reach out to Peter, like, we live here. We're not even going to talk to the news or protest or anything because it really gets that serious when it comes to the restaurant businesses because it's their livelihood and it becomes war. So we learned from that lesson, like, okay, we're small, these are big, like we can't be playing around. We're trying to stay in business.
Right.
Y'all can have that. Y'all have the money to do all that stuff. We're just trying to survive and just, spread our message about not trying to have a war over here in the city.
It baffles me because I don't know a bunch of chefs, right? I'm not coming from a full experience I'm not a chef myself. But to me, food is so creative. And when you love it, as I imagine, at least to start, many chefs got into it because they loved food, experimenting with it, coming up with new ideas, the feeling you get when you feed someone a dish you've made and they love it.
Yes.
So much wrapped up in that.
Yes.
To hear a chef go, I'm not interested in this new thing, I don't get it.
It's a knowledge gap. If they knew better, they would do better. But if you're only taught, especially if you're professionally taught, and the only thing you're taught is, that using animal products, and that's what you're into, and you don't want to expand your learning. That's what it is. Now, those that want to learn and are curious, they're gonna jump on board. 100%. Golden West is a perfect example. Like, they are constantly finding new things to put on their menu. So they understand the assignment. So it couldn't have been a better restaurant for us to team up with
Yeah.
to produce Maryland Vegan Restaurant Month, because this is the ideal type of restaurant that
Mhm.
needs to be engaged with this. They have to want to do it. You have to
Right.
want to do it, be interested in it, and then it'll work for you.
Mm-hmm. So
And for everyone else you're trying to feed.
yeah. And I think people forget, I say this all the time with restaurants, when you're like, oh, I'm not really interested in feeding vegans, maybe because I don't even know if vegans come to my restaurant. Maybe they're not even looking.
Right.
And
But they are.
right.
Right.
Or we're part of the group where we're like, our friends or family want to go to this restaurant, and then we check the menu and we see there's nothing we can even ask for them to switch up.
Right.
We have to be like, we can't eat here. So here are a list of other veg-friendly restaurants where we can all eat. So we're going to go to one of those. So of course they're
Right.
not hearing, hey, I'd like a vegan dish, because we're going somewhere
Right.
else.
Right, right. Well, you find it, even with the hotels, and we're talking about those high price hotels too. They're charging lots of money per night, but when you look at the options in the restaurants that they have in or associated with the hotel,
Yeah.
barely any vegan options, which
Right.
is a shame,
Yeah.
because you're missing a whole market there, because we all travel, whether it's business or leisure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really saddening. I'm happy to find silk milk someplace when I go. I'm like,
Right.
they understand the assignment. I can have a bowl of cereal at least.
So with this Maryland Restaurant Month, how does that work? Like, if people are interested in trying out new restaurants, where do they get more information? And like, do you just go and the restaurant has like a menu that now includes vegan options,
Mhm.
or how does that work?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because we just launched the campaign last week, and the website mdveganeats.com, restaurants sign up through there to participate, and patrons, people that want to dine at restaurants or to take, we have all type of it's just not dine in. You can be a takeout restaurant, carry out, delivery, bakery, or whatever. You'll see a list of these restaurants, and they should have a couple of options on their menu that you can find.
Okay.
So it's just as simple as that. Restaurants have to opt in to participate, and patrons look at the list. And we also list special events. Any, like the Summerfest is coming up, or certain restaurants may have their own events. Like there's a restaurant that's signed up that's having a Baltimore Vegan Restaurant Week the second week of August. And when I reached out to them, I said, that's how we started. They didn't even know that. I was like, yeah, we had a Baltimore Vegan Restaurant Week in 2017. They was like, oh my God, you guys are so awesome. So they're doing
Yeah.
that as a special event, during their participation. So yeah, it's as simple as that.
Nice. And when is the Summerfest happening?
The Summerfest is happening August 23rd and 24th. Again, it's at Power Plant Live in the Inner Harbor. And the Vegan Restaurant Month runs all the way from August 1st to August 31st.
Okay. Very cool. There's a lot of exciting things going on this summer.
I know, it's always a great time, and we normally have a launch party, the last week of the month before we go into the vegan restaurant month. So we're hoping to do that again. So prayerfully, we can do that as well, because the launch parties are great, because restaurants come out and they provide samples to the attendees, and that's how a lot of the attendees find out about new restaurants that they hadn't known had vegan options on the menu.
Yeah, that's so cool. So when are you expanding beyond Maryland?
Oh my goodness. You're talking about in terms of the restaurant?
Just and all of
everything and everything. Well, I know there's different vegan weeks. I know Philly has one.
Mm-hmm.
So, I hear about them. DC Veg has one. those two, I know that they both have them. Now, in terms of festivals, this year, Vegan Soul Fest has been in hiatus for a couple of years. So last year we didn't have it. This year we're partnering with a festival in Brooklyn called Black Veg Fest. So we're going to have a meeting of the minds August 9th. We're going to celebrate with them because the last one we had over 20,000 people. So it's really grown that big that, we have to make some strategic decisions because, people are just losing their mind. Like, it's just a lot. It's a lot of work to manage a huge festival like that. So this year we're going to partner with the Black Veg Fest in Brooklyn and see how we can mesh the personalities and build the movement together. And hopefully we can see it back in Baltimore in 2026.
Yeah. So cool. One of the things that I hope people are picking up on as we have this conversation is that so often and for so long, veganism was seen as a white person thing. And the numbers, I believe, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, that actually the number of Black vegans is like outpacing the number of white vegans. And so even though overall we are a small minority as vegans ourselves, this idea that veganism is only for the rich or only for white people every day is being proven to be not the case. And as you talk about these events that you're doing and all of the people that are showing up, there's obviously a movement happening there.
Right. Yeah. Yes, they've always been there. And I haven't been vegan all my life, but Tracy McQuirter, who's been vegan, she's a beautiful spirit. 4 decades in public health, launched the first African-American vegan starter guide. Is definitely the greatest to ever do it. Talks about how, we've always eaten from the garden. Like, this is nothing new. This is our staples were basic. You got your beans, your legumes, your fruits, vegetables, grain. Like, it's basic, not a lot of commercial products.
Yeah.
So I think that sometimes with the mainstream white veganism, it's a lot of the commercial products and they're expensive. They're expensive and not accessible to lower income communities. So us sharing, going back to our roots and eating the way our ancestors ate, before slavery, before they were enslaved. Just natural foods, natural products from the earth. And that's what we teach at Black Veg Society also. Whole food, plant-based items. They're the healthiest, The people don't believe a banana is vegan. I mean, they make it so complex because they hear all about these other processed items, which are very good. But if you just teach people the basics, rice is vegan if you're not putting the butter in it. Collard greens are vegan if you're not putting animal you have to re-educate the masses. And then it's like, oh, I can do that. And especially if they have health issues.
Yeah.
That they're trying to keep under control. So I think that's what and then you see the movement building that way because we're just going back to our roots and people are growing their own food more now. The community gardens, or they're purchasing from community gardens through the community supported agriculture programs. So those type of things. So that, I believe, has a lot to do with the numbers increasing. Just people getting re-educated, understanding that you're going back to your roots, eating from the garden, and all of this stuff is vegan. Yeah. Like, I don't know why people wouldn't think it is, Yeah. Like, really, it's amazing. Like, ooh, vegan, what is that? Well, this apple is vegan. Do you eat it? so and then really, yeah. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Sometimes we overcomplicate things that we block people out, and then they don't
Hmm.
want to hear about it anymore. Like, oh, I don't do that. Oh, really? You don't eat fruit? Okay.
Yeah. It really is. Yeah.
You
Anytime
don't eat
someone has,
rice and bean, like, you don't, okay.
yeah, anytime someone's like, oh, I don't eat vegan food. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, what are
like
you
it
talking
doesn't,
about?
then you
Yes,
gotta
you
let them
do.
know, like, oh, you do, right? I know you don't eat any fruits. Okay. Do
Right.
you eat nuts and seeds? Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
No, no,
It is.
some people can't even consume a good whole food plant-based meal because their body is so toxic with animal products. And then it surprises me, like, what do you mean you can't eat broccoli?
Mhm.
What do you mean you can't eat anything green? You know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a real problem.
Right. Yeah. And it's just a matter of readjusting your microbiome to get those bacteria back that do process the broccoli and
Right.
the other greens. And yeah, I remember before I went vegetarian when I was a teenager, my parents were convinced that somehow I had turned Pepto-Bismol into a drug because my stomach hurt constantly and I was constantly chugging Pepto-Bismol, and they actually took it out of the house and they're like, we're not buying this anymore because we don't know what you're doing with it, but you're plowing through this Pepto-Bismol. Meanwhile, I'm a teenager trying not to have constant, IBS attacks while in high school.
Right.
But it
Right.
was because I didn't love vegetables. And so I ate a ton of turkey sandwiches and cheeseburgers and stuff. And so if I had something that had onions in it, it messed me up.
Wow. So you can definitely speak to that. Whereas
Yeah.
my plate, even when I was eating meat, which was mostly seafood, I still had to have my vegetables. I've always been a vegetable person. I've
Hmm.
always had to have something on my plate that was veg related. But I see people with starch and protein, starch and
Yep.
protein. Like I'm like, I don't know how you do it, like, but I
Yeah.
can't do that. Not even vegan, like the vegan, like starch and I can't do it.
Yeah, now I feel that like if I look at a plate that it's, let's say it's like an impossible burger on like a vegan bun, and there's no like tomato, lettuce, onions, or there's no side of something veg, I'll feel it in me going, I need something else. I need something
Yes,
fresh or like,
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes. So
crispy.
you get it. I gotta
Yeah.
have my vegetables.
So it's possible to change. If anybody is listening and you're like, I don't know, I don't like vegetables. Yes, you do. Just give them a try.
Exactly, exactly. Try something. You gotta like something. Well, all the like we have so many more options compared to people eating meat. Like when you think of all the grains and the fruits, the vegetables, the nuts and seeds, beans, good. We got so many more options that we're still learning. I mean, you think there may be a Japanese collard green or Indian collard green. Like it's just so many different
Yeah.
options out there that it's amazing. So it's never ending learning, like never ending.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people will think, oh, being vegan is restrictive. And I have eaten more things since going vegan than I ever ate when I still ate animals.
Me too. Me
Yeah.
too. I think when they're speaking restrictive, when we talk to the BIPOC community, it's only been what so many decades that we've had the freedom to do certain things.
Mhm.
So I can only speak to that demographic that now, oh, it feels like, oh, you're taking things away and we're just getting them. So it's just changing the narrative. It's not just, we're not taking taking anything away, is look at the statistics. We have to do it from a health standpoint. Cardiovascular disease, obesity, diabetes, stroke. When you're looking at all of those killers and what the common factor is, it's diet related. And that's the conversation that's had. Like, we haven't had the numbers that we've had in probably the 70s and 60s like we have now of deaths. Mm-hmm. And it's all because the food is changing. It's just over processed, it's unhealthy, and it's toxic.
Yeah.
And who's to say what's going on with the animal agriculture and the farming?
Right.
We have no idea what's going on. Mm-hmm. The stress alone in the animal is killing people that's consuming them. Like, you're eating all the violence and the stress.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's all related.
Yeah, that goes.
They die, you die. You know, like it's coming back for you. You know, it's karma. And then we're living more sedentary lifestyles because we have this entertainment right in our hand. People aren't moving like they used to move back when we were young. Double dutch, jump rope, hopscotch, outside riding bike. Like, it's just a totally different lifestyle now. So you really have to be more conscious about what you're eating and the overconsumption of sugar, all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime I see children like outside playing, it's almost like I've seen a ghost, because it's like, oh my goodness, look, there are children out here playing.
Yeah.
And you're right.
And
used to do that.
Exactly. And then in our community, we're talking about animal abuse and neglect. Again, it's an unlearning, because a lot of the children are neglected. You see what I'm saying? And then it, goes down and it impacts the animals who may be domesticated as pets. So there's just a lot to unlearn and undo, on our side of the house. And not just us, because tons of people abuse animals, pets, and stuff like that. You hear about these stories all the time. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of work to do. We really do have a lot of work to do. And the only way I think we're going to get it accomplished is through true compassion in action, and non-judgment, and really listening, and trying to find real solutions to the problem that's accessible and feasible for everyone. And that's going to look different for everyone. You know what I'm saying? There's not one solution. There's multiple solutions. And everyone's got to take their role and go out there and play their positions.
Yeah, I love that. Naijha, thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, I've got one more question for you. How does hummus show up in your life?
I love hummus. You're talking about chickpeas, packed with protein. I love to have it with pita chips. I love to have it with carrot sticks and celery sticks and cucumbers. Like, that's if that is the only thing on the menu, because a lot of times that may be the only thing on a menu that's vegan. Like, give it to me all day.
Me too.
Exactly. I love it. Like, it's the creaminess and the consistency is perfect. I want a bowl of hummus now. I got some cucumbers in the refrigerator, chocolate things. Like, I want to dip myself.
It's swim in a bowl of hummus.
Avocado.
So good. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight. I can't wait to get this episode out for everyone to hear and get them excited about what you're doing, and your Restaurant Week and Soul Fest and everything else.
Yes. And they can find out more about the Land of Kush at landofkush.com, and Black Veg Society at blackvegsociety.org. Maryland Vegan Eats at mdveganeats.com, and Naijha Speaks at naijaspeaks.com.
Yeah, can. I'll put all of the links in the show notes so people can just click right into them.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thanks again. This was a pleasure, and I am so grateful and blessed to have spent this time with you, Kimberly.
Thank you. Welcome back. Naijha is doing so many amazing things, and I wanted to make sure this episode made it out in time so that you can still enjoy a couple of weeks of the Maryland Vegan Restaurant Week. So if you're in the area or making your way there in the next 2 weeks through the end of August, make sure to check it out, visit the restaurants who are participating, and let them know how much you appreciate all of the vegan options and the way that they are accommodating during this month. And hopefully you'll see some of those items find a permanent place on each of their menus. To connect with Naijha, you can visit multiple websites. As for Maryland Restaurant Month, you want to visit mdveganeats.com. For her Soul Bistro, you want to visit landofkush.com. There's also vegansoulfest.com. And for more info on Black Veg Society, blackvegsociety.org. Of course, you'll find these links in the show notes. I hope you found this episode helpful and inspiring. Please subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you're loving it, please give Did You Bring the Hummus a 5-star rating and leave a review. It's an easy way to keep supporting the show. Be sure to share these episodes with your friends. If you're finding something good here, they will too. If you're a vegan or know a vegan who would be a great fit for the podcast, follow the Be a Guest link in the show notes. Fill out the quiz and I'll be in touch. Get on my mailing list and stay up to date on all things Did You Bring the Hummus? Get more info on how you can sign up for a meditation, one of my programs, or to support the podcast via the links in the show notes. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Did You Bring the Hummus, and visit my website, didyouBringTheHummus.com, for more information about me, updates on what I'm working on, new podcast episodes, and all things vegan. Finally, I would love to hear from you. What do you need help with? Is there a topic you want to hear covered on a future episode? DM me on Instagram or send me an email at info@didyouBringTheHummus.com. Thanks for listening.